Hey, Chaotic Crew, Brian here. I've got another deck tech for you as we get into this holiday season. This one was pretty popular this week, so I thought it's also recent, so why not make a deck around Storm, Force of Nature, one of the new Marvel Secret Lair cards. Of course, a Storm is a Brewin, 3/4, Flying Vigilance, a Mutant Hero. For one of anything, a green, a blue, and a red, so teamer colors here. And Storm has, whenever she deals combat damage to a player, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn has Storm. So lots to go off of here. We're going to be casting lots of instant sorceries. We're going to be getting extra value off of those cards. So cards that have maybe an extra casting cost that, you know, is sort of outweighed by the amazing benefit it has. We can take extra advantage of those cards. So let's just dive right into what this deck wants to do. Pretty much you want to get Storm on turn 3 or 4 out, hit someone in on that turn or the turn after, and then you start casting spells. We have some great creatures to support the plan here. Archmage Emeritus and Archmage of Runes drawing cards for us when we cast those instant sorceries, which is nice. Archmage of Runes also makes them cost less. Ashling, Flame Dancer, gives us a lot of great things here. We don't lose our red mana, and whenever we cast our copy an instant sorcery spell, we'll draw a card, or discard and draw the first time, and then the second time we'll deal 2 damage to each opponent, which is important, and then the third time we get 4 new mana, so it helps us cast even more spells if we've got it. Birds of Paradise is just a 1-drop mana dork that can really help us out. We have Burgess, God of Storytelling, giving us red mana whenever we cast spells. The backside, if we're running low on cards, can help generate some, card draw, semi-card draw. Burning Tree Emissary, just a super fun card to have. Pretty much gives us the mana we spent on it. Cloud of Fairies untaps 2 lands. Atali, Primal Conqueror, is really great. Each player is, of course, exiling a card, you're casting one for free. Works fantastic in a Storm deck. Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, pretty much burning our opponents when we cast spells and refilling our graveyard. We've got a few discard cards in here that will make it so that our graveyard's going to get a little bit big, so this will help, refill our hand. Goblin Narcomancer helps the mana reduction. Peregrine Drake will just untap lands. We're not running any infinites in here, just strictly to cast a creature, untap 5 lands, and go from there. Pinnacle Monk is a land, but also when it comes in, you can return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand, which is neat. Stella Lee is all about casting multiple spells in a turn. Stormkiln Artist, giving us treasure, and then Storm Splitter, of course. Need I say more? Just a great card there. Moving on to our non-creature package, we got tons of instants and sorceries. Let's just go over them all right here. Assault Strobe, a great way to give our commander double strike, which means if she deals combat damage, the next instant or sorcery is going to have double storm. It will stack, which is pretty fun there. And then Temur Battle Rage down here does the same thing, but at instant speed. Blasphemous Act is just a cheap board wipe. If we don't have Storm out, we can cast this, get her out. If we have a card to give her haste, then that's great too. Bolt Wave will just deal 3 damage to each opponent, and it will definitely be solid there. Elemental Eruption already has Storm and makes 4/4 dragons with flying and prowess. And so being able to copy this again with Storm is definitely super important. Enter the Enigma can make Storm unblockable, draw us a card. Farseek, Rampant Growth, Nature's Lore, 3 visits help ramp us. Cataxin Probe is a free way to draw a card, which is nice. We do have all 3 of the, Phyrexian cards, Noxious Revival down here, and Gutshot over here. Just free ways to get these triggers for our commander. We're casting spells. And then we also have stuff like Frantic Search, and we have Snap that will untap 2 lands or untap 3 lands as they, happen. So they're good if we storm them, sure, but we're really using these to build up that storm count. So very strong there. A lot of cantrips. Overmaster makes the next spell uncounterable, which is pretty great. Regrowth, like I said, we are discarding some cards, so helps bring cards back to our hand. Hull Breach is good removal. Jeska's Will, super strong. It's giving us a ton of mana and giving us a lot of optional card draw, which is great. Overpowering Attack and Relentless Assault make it so that we can have more combats and make things have other things have Storm, which is pretty great. Grab the Prize and Big Score, Unexpected Windfall. They're discard outlets, right? Which, like I talked about in the beginning, you cast it by discarding a card, but if it has Storm, you're just copying it, so you don't need to re-discard a card for each time you copy it. You're just going to be drawing 2 cards, making 2 treasures. With Grab the Prize, you're going to be drawing 2 cards. Occasionally, you'll be dealing 2 damage, so that's nice there. Vandal Blast is a cheap removal spell that could also, you can put more mana into it to deal more of a blow to your opponents. Beast Within, Chaos Warp. We do run Mystic Confluence, Fierce Guardianship, and Sublime Epiphany. Those are, very good cards that we could copy if we really needed to draw some cards. These 2, at least the big ones, but also work as counter spells, which is nice. And then Deflecting Swat, we don't really use it to build up our commander's storm count, but since we are spending most of our mana in one turn, nice to have a free option in our hand. Expedite, another cantrip. Crimson Wisps, but ways to give our commander haste and drawing us a card. Nature's Claim is removal. Growth Spiral, if we do have this in our hand to copy, we're drawing multiple cards, which is nice. Harrow is great as well. You're sacrificing a land to cast it and putting 2 onto the battlefield untapped. So this helps build the storm count, but it's also not bad to copy and get a ton of land on the battlefield. Into the Flood Maw is good removal, and then Manamorphose is just an amazing card. We're drawing a card and we're getting mana with it, so if we storm this and we have another big spell in our hand, that could be really useful as well. And then artifacts, we do run Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, the Boots and the Greaves, and then Tormod's Crypt is our graveyard hate. Don't have a ton of graveyard hate, but we do have stuff that gets things out of our graveyard, so that's why we don't have to run a ton. Enchantments, Bear Umbra taps our lands, so sure, we can tap out and then build up our storm count. Bear Umbra will untap our lands when our commander deals damage, and then our next instant sorcery has Storm. Nature's Will does the same thing. Song of Creation's a great way to cast a bunch of spells in one turn. It's giving us a bunch of card draw, letting us play extra lands, so that's nice there. Utopia Sprawl and Wild Growth are great ways to build the storm count as well, but also great early game ramp. And then we have our lands, only 35, including the double face card. Nothing too crazy here as far as utility goes. We do have the bounce lands. Is it Boiler Works? We have the Gruul Turf. We have the Simic Growth Chamber, and those are for especially the cards that untap lands. These are generating value for us, so very good there. Let's go ahead and do a quick play test and get into it. Ooh, we're already starting off with a bunch of lands. A couple of instant sorceries, not a lot of card draw, but let's go into it, see how it turns out. And right there, I'm blessed. Let's go ahead and crack this. We don't really need too many more lands, but let's get an island here. And next turn, we will go ahead and play the Forest and Farseek for our Triome. And then turn 3, we can go ahead and cast our Commander, which is great. Not a ton to do here. We could also cast Archmage Emeritus, but I think we go save that for next turn. And get her out. If she gets removed, no big deal, right? We can build it up, play, the next turn Archmage Emeritus, and still go about our game plan. She's a 3/4, isn't doing a ton, and we're not going to be casting a ton of spells, so we are going to get to play a mountain, and we could cast Archmage Emeritus, but we first probably want to play the Manamorphose, so we'll do tap 2, add 2 mana into our mana pool, let's say blue, and then draw a card. And then we'll tap 2 more mana and cast Archmage Emeritus. And then we will move to combat and swing Storm. And if Storm gets in, even, well, we don't have the mana, but now we could have given Double Strike. We can Storm, we've cast 2 spells, so we can play the Bolt Wave to deal 9 damage to each opponent and draw a card. That's pretty great. I don't mind doing that. Deal 9 damage to each opponent. Draw a card. And next turn. So yeah, definitely a strong showing here. We do have a couple other ways to draw cards now, so we're not deep in the woods. Plus, Archmage Emeritus is helping draw, so a really strong game there. Let's do one more. We have a little bit less land, but nothing. Start off with the turn with an Opt. Let's play the Triome. Next turn, let's go ahead and play the Pinnacle Monk tapped. Just because that is the best play here. We do have a Tormod's Crypt, which is nice. That builds the storm count as well. We could Frantic Search here to draw and discard. It's an instant. I don't hate that. And we do have a couple other cards to build up the storm count too, so not a big deal. I just hate having to do that so early without building the storm count, but we do kind of need to guarantee that we are getting our lands. So we will draw 2 cards. And then discard 2 cards. Okay, I don't hate any of these, actually. Let's discard the Assault Strobe. Oh no, these are all so good. So good. I think we discard the Assault Strobe and the Gut. We'll do the Deflecting Swat. Just because it's... Deflecting Swat isn't helping the storm count. We need to draw those cards. So you could have... I think we need to keep the Opt here. And the Gut Shot or the Assault Strobe, either's fine, but we can cast Gut Shot for free. So next turn, we get another land, which is great. We'll play the island, and we just cast our commander, which I think is the play. And then hope she doesn't die. If she does, not the biggest deal. We can play another land, get Wild Growth out. But the next turn, and we get to play a land. We can Wild Growth this land, right? So we have every mana we want. We can then Gut Shot for 0. We can Tormod's Crypt, right? So storm count is at 3. Oh man, my mouse is cracked out. And then we swing in, right, with the commander, and then we Opt and draw 4 cards. And we scry each time, right? So we can have our pick letter. Let's see if we ended up scrying all those to the bottom. So we would have scried this to the bottom, drawn this, scried this to the bottom, drawn this. Metamorphose isn't bad. We can keep that on top and draw, and then Jessica's Will is amazing. So yeah, definitely, even if you copy an Opt 4 times, it's so strong. So very fun deck. I hope you enjoyed the tech, and if you want to leave a comment down below, letting me know which of these Marvel commanders you want me to do next, what you'd add to Storm, what you'd take out of Storm. Go ahead and do that, and maybe I'll make that video next. But otherwise, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.